You replayed the moment 1,000 times. What you said, what you didn't do, the choice you wish you could take back. Regret whispers like a shadow, convincing you that you're stuck, that you ruined your chance. But here's the truth no one tells you. Regret isn't the end. It's the beginning of self-awareness, the start of growth, the moment you stop living in the past and start taking back control. If you've been carrying the weight of your past decisions, this is your wake-up call. Not to forget what happened, but to transform because of it. Regret often feels like emotional punishment, a heavy reminder of choices we wish we hadn't made. But beneath that discomfort lies something far more powerful: growth. Regret is not a symptom of failure. It's a signal that you've matured. It means your mind has evolved beyond the person who made that decision. The fact that you even recognize something as a mistake proves you've gained a higher level of awareness. People who don't grow don't regret. They repeat, they ignore, they numb. But those who are becoming more conscious, more in tune with who they want to be, feel regret because their standards have shifted. What once seemed acceptable now feels wrong. That shift is progress. That discomfort is growth in disguise. You cannot regret something and remain unchanged. The two are incompatible. Regret reshapes you. It challenges your values, your priorities, your self-image. And in that challenge, you grow. You dig deeper. You ask better questions. You make better decisions. The emotional pain you feel isn't weakness. It's refinement. It's your internal compass recalibrating. The shame and guilt that come with regret are signals, not sentences. They are trying to teach you, not trap you. The only mistake is to ignore them or let them define you. But when you sit with them, listen to them, and learn from them, regret becomes a turning point. The most powerful people you know have regrets, but they use them. They mine them for insight. They turn them into discipline, into compassion, into wisdom. Regret is the doorway between the person you were and the person you are becoming. It means your soul is waking up. You're starting to see clearly. You're starting to hold yourself to a higher standard. That's not failure. That's transformation. No one escapes life without choices they wish they could undo. But the goal isn't to erase those moments. It's to evolve through them. Regret is the emotional evidence that you're no longer who you used to be. You've outgrown that version of yourself. That's a reason to be proud. Stop seeing regret as something to fear. It's the price of growth, and it's worth paying. It's the uncomfortable proof that you're expanding, becoming wiser, becoming real. And in that realization lies your greatest strength. You are not the sum of your past mistakes. You are the result of what you choose next. The past cannot be rewritten, but the future is unwritten and entirely in your hands. Regret only holds power when you let it silence your ability to choose differently. Every time you replay your past, you're investing energy into what you can no longer change, instead of what you still have the power to create. The truth is brutally simple. Your next choice holds more power than your worst decision ever did. You can't control what happened, but you can control what happens now. One decision, made consciously in the present, can start to undo years of damage done unconsciously in the past. You are not defined by a single chapter of your life, no matter how dark it was. Stop confusing who you were with who you are becoming. The next choice is always a chance to redeem, rebuild, and restart. And you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to move with intention. Action is louder than memory. One choice rooted in clarity, strength, or courage can rewrite the entire narrative you've been telling yourself. You are not your past regrets. You are the person capable of changing direction, of breaking patterns, of choosing better. Starting now. Clarity doesn't come from sitting in guilt. It comes from stepping into change. When you realize the future is a blank slate and your next decision holds a pen, everything shifts. People stay stuck not because they lack opportunity, but because they believe they're still bound to what they once did. But growth breaks chains. Responsibility liberates. The moment you accept that your next step is entirely your decision, you free yourself from every excuse. Victimhood loses its grip. Blame fades. And what's left is raw power. The power to take ownership of the next page of your life. Every great transformation starts with one choice. To no longer be the same. Not tomorrow. Now. You can't heal what you refuse to change, and you can't change what you keep reliving. But when you say, I won't live like this anymore, and mean it, everything begins to shift. Your next choice doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be different, braver, truer. It's not about erasing the past. It's about refusing to let it write the rest of your story. The most powerful force in your life is your ability to choose again, wiser and stronger than before. Perfection is a lie sold to the insecure and believed by the broken. It's the unattainable illusion that keeps people stuck, afraid to move, afraid to try, terrified to fail. But life was never about flawless execution. It was always about courageous progression. Progress is where transformation lives. Every misstep, every setback, every choice that didn't go as planned is not a disqualification. It's a vital piece of the process. Real growth is messy, unpredictable, and often painful. But it's real, and that makes it more valuable than any fake image of perfection ever could be. You don't become powerful by being perfect. You become powerful by continuing to rise, to learn, to evolve. People wait for the right time, the perfect moment, the flawless plan. And in doing so, waste years of potential buried under procrastination dressed up as preparation. But the truth is forward. One flawed step in the right direction beats 1,000 perfect plans that never leave the ground. Every time you move, even with uncertainty, you gather clarity. Every imperfect action teaches you something that standing still never will. Progress is made by the bold, not the perfect. The people who change the world, their lives, and their legacies are not the ones who never failed. They're the ones who refuse to stop after failing. They kept showing up. They kept trying. They turned their losses into lessons, their scars into strategy. And in doing so, they built something real, something earned, something unshakable. If you're waiting until you're perfect to start, you'll never begin. And if you're beating yourself up for every misstep, you'll never make it to the steps that matter most. Every success story has a backstory full of mistakes. Every strong person you admire has a trail of failures behind them. They didn't get there by doing everything right. They got there by refusing to stay down when things went wrong. Stop demanding perfection from yourself and start demanding progress. Progress is momentum. Progress is life. Perfection is stagnation wrapped in fear. The most important breakthroughs in your life won't come from perfect conditions. They'll come from imperfect action taken anyway. The moments you step forward despite doubt, despite fear, despite previous failure, those are the ones that will define you. So take the step, speak the truth, risk the failure. Because in the end, it's not about being perfect. It's about becoming better. And better is always enough. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. That's not an excuse. It's a truth too many people forget. You weren't who you are now. You didn't have the clarity, the insight, or the experience you have today. You were navigating with the emotional tools, mindset, and perspective available to you in that moment. And maybe they were limited, maybe they were broken, but they were yours, and you acted based on what felt right, safe, or necessary back then. Regret often forgets to account for context. It judges the past with the wisdom of the present, and that's not fair. You can't blame yourself now for not knowing what you didn't know then. The decisions that hurt you or others weren't made because you wanted to fail. They were made because you were trying to survive, to belong, to protect yourself, to chase something you believed would bring peace or purpose. Sometimes people confuse ignorance with intention, but most of our worst choices come from confusion, fear, or a deep need we didn't yet know how to fulfill in healthy ways. You didn't fail because you were evil or broken. You were human, imperfect, in progress. And progress always comes with mistakes. You don't grow by hating the person you used to be. You grow by understanding them, by honoring how far you've come. That version of you made decisions that led you here, to greater awareness, to stronger values, to deeper wisdom. The pain wasn't pointless. It refined you. And now you can look back, not with shame, but with compassion. Compassion doesn't erase responsibility. It adds context. It allows healing without self-condemnation. You can still hold yourself accountable without dragging yourself through endless guilt. The truth is, most people are doing their best, even when their best isn't good enough. That includes you. That includes a younger, more wounded, more impulsive, more uncertain version of you who made choices you now wish you could undo. They would do what they thought was right or what felt like the only option. And now that you know better, you can do better. That's what matters most. Not that you made mistakes, but that you've outgrown them, that you've learned, that you're still willing to face yourself honestly. Real strength is admitting your past without letting it define your future. You're not that person anymore, but you owe that person some grace. They carried you here, through everything despite the pain, despite the failure, despite not knowing how. You did the best you could with what you knew. Now, with everything you've learned, you can write a new story, one built on truth, growth, and the courage to forgive yourself. Regret is only poison when you let it sit stagnant inside you, but it can be power if you choose to move with it, to transform it into something useful, something that drives you instead of defining you. Too many people wear regret like chains, dragging it behind them everywhere they go. It weighs down their future, dims their hope, and convinces them that redemption is out of reach. But regret was never meant to imprison you. It was meant to awaken you, to shake you out of patterns that no longer serve you, to show you what matters. It becomes a weapon for growth when you stop letting it haunt you and start letting it teach you. The strongest people aren't the ones who out-regret. They're the ones who alchemize it into purpose. They turn pain into power. They face what they did wrong, sat in discomfort, and chose to rise from it with clarity. That's the path forward. Regret doesn't disappear by pretending it's not there. It fades when you learn from it and build something better because of it. Your past doesn't deserve the power to control your next step unless you hand it the keys. You can either let regret write the rest of your story, or you can use it to fuel the rewrite. You can choose to let regret be a constant reminder of what went wrong, or a compass that points you toward what's right. Every tear, every mistake, every moment that left you ashamed or broken carries a potential to push you towards something higher. You already paid the price of pain. Don't let it be wasted. Use it. Let it harden your resolve. Let it fuel your discipline, deepen your empathy, sharpen your awareness. Let it make you better, not bitter. That's the transformation regret is capable of when you stop running from it and start working with it. It's not about erasing the past. It's about redeeming it, turning even the worst chapters into the reason you became more, not less. Regret can either chain you to who you were or challenge you to become who you're meant to be. The difference is in how you respond. Use it as fuel. Let it drive you to show up with more intention, to apologize when needed, to change direction when necessary, to never repeat what once hurt you or others. That's how you take your power back. You're not broken because you have regrets. You're awake. You're learning. You're evolving. Don't bury your regret. Build with it. Mold it into something stronger. Let it remind you of what you stand for now, not as a wound that still bleeds, but as a scar that shows you healed and kept walking. Use regret not as a reason to stay small, but as fuel to rise, speak, act, and become everything you know you can be. Regret is not your enemy. It's your mirror. It reflects how far you've come, not how badly you failed. The fact that you feel it means you've grown beyond the person who once made that choice. But now, it's time to stop carrying it like a burden and start using it like a weapon for clarity, for change, for redemption. Your past does not get to dictate your worth. Your next decision does. So stand up, own it, learn from it, and let it fuel the rise of the version of you that regret was always trying to create. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your comeback.